Alex, as you look at the biggest difference in what we're seeing with Josh this year on the tape, why does it look so familiar to you?
I think the biggest difference, and you look at it, really the only difference compared to last year's offensive coordinator Joe Brady, right? This is his first full year with the reins of the offense, and it so much reminds me of when I went to Kansas City with Andy Reid. And just everything got simple, Greeny. I'll never forget getting there. Like, the playbook got small. The game plans were easy. The progressions were again, these pure progressions, man-zone checks. Like, I remember it was like, it was almost alarming how simplified the game was, and it made it easy. I got up to line scrimmage. I wasn't overthinking. It was like, hey, 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. And that's what I'm seeing out of Josh Allen this year. Like, the hero ball is gone. You look at it, turnovers way down, which have always been his Achilles heel. Sacks way down. He's just running the offense, and he has so much clarity, right, getting to the line of scrimmage. He knows where he's going with the football. He's not hanging on to it. And again, the gifts that he has are just ridiculously special.
Yeah, well, Josh was a smokescreen last week because all they had to do was depend on that offensive line, which I think is playing absolutely great. These players up front are just making it so hard for defenses because you look at this guy back there, freaking robot back there playing quarterback, okay, that can do everything. They'll get you an empty, and then they'll run the football Rex with this guy on a quarterback counter. But then you got the offensive line that'll just mow you down with all those double teams and then cook that running back. There's so much there. There's just so much there to defend, and then all of a sudden, yes, you also have this Josh Allen. So let me give you a few pictures in terms of how they just destroyed Seattle last week. These double teams getting up to the second level. Moss, they ran 34 times for 164 yards, 14 first downs. I mean, these guys, and see, when Cook gets through these holes, man, these double teams, you really can't see him. He almost shrinks. He's like a little snake back there, the way he moves, his torso over his hips. That type of running back that I'm used to seeing as a linebacker. It's just like, where's he going? Where's he going? Because that double team's in my lap now. I mean, Deion Dawkins is having a great year, but you see it. There are pancake blocks all over the place, and there are holes where you get this running back coming through, and he almost startles you. It's a running attack that sort of distracted me from Josh Allen.
You know, one thing, Alex, you made a great point talking about this offense and the OC Joe Brady. Being able to simplify this offense and, you know, getting back to Kimberly Martin talking about Amari Cooper. My question, are you hurt or are you injured? Because if you're injured, Rex, you know you can't play. Amari Cooper's hurting. He was just traded to the Buffalo Bills a couple of weeks ago. So I just want to know, a hurt guy is going to play. So if his wrist is hurting, I expect more body catches. But one thing that Kimberly Martin did say, it did open up the door for the young receivers and Shakir and a guy like Keon Coleman. And I've been high in praising a guy like Keon Coleman since week one. And the reason why is because all the things that was talked about him in the draft about his speed, but they're talking about from white line to white line, this man can move like the best of them. And last week's performance, well, the last couple of weeks' performance, almost 200 yards in the last 2 weeks. So you talking about this offense opening up. As long as he's getting Shakir and a guy like Keon Coleman adjusted to having a guy like Amari Cooper, the sky's the limit for this offense.
Well, we'll get the official word on Cooper in the next 15 minutes, so make sure you stay with us. In the meantime, let's talk about the Miami side of this. The record is not particularly good. They desperately need a win on the road today with their coach, Mike McDaniel, who I know you have developed your new name for.
Oh, Mike McGenius.
Yes.
Yes, not so much. I mean, he's 1-8 against winning teams over the last 2 years. And, you know, so if you're going to beat Buffalo, look, their Achilles heel is teams that can run the ball. All right, you want to keep that offense on the sideline, run the football. But that's okay because McGenius is a run game guru, right?
Right.
Except when you watch the tape, I'm like, you're doing zip. Like, what the hell are you doing? Here's our McGenius play. Let's just pitch it to the back and let him see if he can outrun guys. No blocking issues and all that stuff. I just think it's ridiculous. And this team right here, that's why they're desperate. Who cares? You think Buffalo cares? Buffalo's watching the tape going, you guys do nothing. They don't care. You guys do nothing.
We've played you twice a year. We've beaten you multiple times. It's like you've run out of gimmicks. I mean, because this team is just so confident. We're going to play too high. You're not going to get the deep shot. And you go ahead and do all your tricks back there, and we're just going to play disciplined defense. That's what McDermott has his defense doing. They're playing very well. Rousseau is a great player for them on the defensive end.
I got a sense from dinner last night, a lot of people at this table think think this could be a close game? We're talking about this like this is an easy
one.
No, you were not. You were definitively not. As you sat there with your wings and your nachos, you were not on that side.
Absolutely.
But there was a lot of this is going to be a more interesting game than people think at our dinner last night.
Listen, this is a division game, bunch of rivalry here. The weather looks good up in Buffalo. That bodes well for Miami. If they can protect for Tua looked unbelievable last week coming back off the IR. They have a chance if they can hold up front.
In fact, I wanted to jump right into that immediately. There's a part of me that almost feels foolish asking this question because Lamar Jackson is a veteran and he's a 2-time MVP. Will having missed all of the work this week, will that impact how he plays? I feel like you're laughing at me as I'm asking.
Not at all.
His fault.
And listen, he just played a physical division game against the Cleveland Browns. You heard Eric DeCosta say that. But the whole video, for everybody out there, Fridays in the NFL circles are called Fast Fridays.
Yes.
Right.
The music's pumping. You got the pads off. It's the end of the work week. It's your last practice. I mean, he looked good. He was throwing behind the back passes.
Okay.
Right? Like, that's the kind of energy that's out there on a Friday. And yes, like Wednesday, Thursday, I'm sure he took part in the walkthroughs. He walked out there. He got the mental reps. He'll be fine.
Okay. I feared it was a foolish question, and indeed I was right. So now let's then turn to the acquisition of Diontae Johnson. Obviously, he's a terrific player. No one is questioning that. But there are some questions as to what his acquisition is going to mean. Randy, what questions do you have?
Well, the question for me is, you're bringing a guy in, a smaller receiver that has had problems in his career with the dropsies. And one thing that I look at the Baltimore Ravens, their big packages, having Lamar bigger targets, I think that's what's working. Now, Zay Flowers is a different type of wide receiver. So for me, I just think the Ravens having the big packages out there, having big targets, those big tight end packages for him to throw to, I think that is the formula for them moving forward. But having a guy like Diontae Johnson, one thing that Brew did make a great point last night, that with all the run game that they're doing, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be receiving a lot more man coverage, tighter throws for Lamar. So getting a guy like him in there, one thing about him, he's going to always be open. Will he catch the ball? That's undetermined.
Yeah, Diontae Johnson, I don't know what the immediate impact will be. I think long term, though, I mean, December playoffs, how it's going to be, he's going to be desperately needed because I love Derrick Henry. I do. I mean, just pounding him over and over again will get you wins, but you're going to be in games where it's got to be Lamar. And he's going to have to be back there, and he's going to have to be a drop-back passer and get rid of it. You can't just hand it off and win a championship, okay, with Derrick Henry. You can win playoff games, sure, but there's going to be those drives within those games where, all right, Lamar now sees Flowers, Johnson, Mark Edwards, all those weapons that he desperately needs to do his quarterbacking to eventually get them over the top.
Look, Lamar Jackson is at a stage in his life and career where MVPs, he's got them. Regular season wins, he's got them. What is the formula for this team to get over the hump this year? Tedy is saying they can't do it on Derrick Henry's back alone.
Yeah, see, I agree with that, not Derrick Henry alone. However, I think you can get there by running the football and play action pass, which is what they do and heavy up the protections. That's where Lamar's at his best. So to me, I think this acquisition is, look, I think it gives depth. You mentioned Zay Flowers. I know, Randy, how much you like him.
Yes.
I think this is a guy, a similar type body type and got the quickness and all that type of stuff. Yes, to beat man coverage, but also gives you depth in case something happens to Zay Flowers. And guys, here's where this organization separates themselves from almost every other organization. They're going to get, that cost them what, a 5th-round pick or something, and swap 5 and a 6 or something like that? And guess what they're going to get in return?
A 3.
A 3 when he signs somewhere else. That's a brilliant organization. Get the player for the year in case you need the depth in particular, and get the draft pick.
So where do you see Diontae Johnson playing as a receiver for the Baltimore Ravens? Because they got the big guys and they let Zay Flowers work the middle. Diontae Johnson on the outside?
I think, Randy, to your point, he's probably going to be mixed in there, like as a role guy, and then not as a starter, but gives you great depth. And you got the compensation coming down the road.
Yeah, does it cause any type of delay, like any type of miscommunication with Lamar when he's back there, not sure of what he's doing? And if that does today, I mean, Sal mentioned Vance Joseph. I mean, this defense of Denver, I mean, you have to figure this out. You know this blitz package very well. I mean, in terms of like, where's it?
I recognize it.
Yeah, where's it coming? A lot of Rex Ryan based in that stuff. So where's it coming from? Who's the rushers? Who's the droppers? If you're figuring it out, and then all of a sudden, okay, is my receiver then there? Bam, you could get blindsided if there's just a half of a second of delay.
So there are a lot of big picture questions about the Ravens. Now let's take it little picture. It's an interesting game today with Denver, and I want to win you a bar bet right now. And of course, this may change by the end of the day. But between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and how spectacular they've been, do you know that Bo Nix leads all rookies in touchdowns this year? He has 12 combined passing and rushing touchdowns. He's been better than most people realize, Alex. Does he have enough to go in there and beat Baltimore today?
We're going to find out. Listen, this kid, you said it, he's been flying under the radar because of how good Jaden and Caleb have been. And I think there was this narrative about him. Listen, he was the 6th quarterback taken in the draft, the last pick of quarterbacks in the first round. And he played, 400 college games. He's 25 years old. There was an idea that he was a safe pick, right? I think that he was limited. He had a low ceiling. That couldn't be further from the truth. This dude is unbelievable, right? There was this concept that he couldn't throw it downfield. I mean, this guy is special. Look at this guy bearing down on him. Look at this throw, Teddy. Back foot, an absolute dime, obviously an unbelievable catch. But look how small that window was. I mean, this guy is really coming on. They've won 5 out of their last 6, and a lot of it having to do with him. Again, look at this free rusher. He doesn't flinch, right? You can't coach this. I mean, and again, look at the ball placement, 30-yard dig route, just an absolute dime. And then he is a special athlete. He is an alpha, right? He can do this. I mean, 40, 50-yard runs. I mean, he's 4th in the NFL in rushing right now, just behind Kyler. Don't mind that stumble right there. He is a really good player, and he is showing it. But this is the biggest test. This is a bit of a litmus test for this Denver Bronco team. How good are they going across the country playing the Ravens?